you all know that a lot of you in here can get incredibly uncomfortable with what I'm about to talk about, which is super, I think that's great, because I think the most important conversations to have can be uncomfortable. So this is called You Can Tell Me Anything, but Not That. I'm going to start off with a story. In February of 2014, I was super active in youth group, in cheer, in choir, in drama, in ASB, in anything I could get my hands on outside of school, which I was still a straight A student on top of all that. Sorry, I'm going to put that down. Everything was great. I had a boyfriend at the time who I was totally obsessed with. He was super sweet, loved Jesus, and I thought that he loved me. See, he didn't. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. I was walking to cheer practice, and I was an awkward little 16-year-old, and I got an immense pain right in my left ovary. See, I didn't really think too much about it because women in my family have struggled with ovarian cysts and with extremely painful periods for generations. So I just ignored it and I continued on with my life. I went to cheer, cried when I got home because I was in so much pain. And that pain continued for a couple weeks before I finally talked about it to a friend of mine. It was just the two of us in our choir room at lunchtime. And a substitute came in and overheard me telling my friend that I was terrified. I didn't know what was happening with my body. And I didn't know who to go to or who to talk to and what to say because I had never experienced a pain this bad. The substitute told me to stop talking. That's not something that you talk about in public. If you are going through that, that's private. It's disgusting, and I was mortified. So I didn't talk about it for a year. And when I finally felt comfortable to talk about it again, it was to that boyfriend. A couple weeks later, he decided I wasn't good enough because of what I was going through. Because the mother of his future children might not be able to have kids, so I wasn't woman enough, and that relationship ended. What I didn't know that whole time was that everything I was going through was completely normal. I'm going to talk about menstrual pains. And for those of you who don't know, when you cramp, it's basically like your uterus is contracting. So it's like a woman giving birth. It could kind of like be, it ranges from super mild to terrible. Sometimes it causes women to throw up. Sometimes it causes women to pass out. And around 29% of women report to have cramps that are so bad that they have to seek medical attention. But sadly, a lot of them don't. Some common reasons for these pains are endometriosis, which for those of you who don't know what that is, the endometrial tissue is supposed to be on the inside of your uterus. It's starting to grow on the outside, and that's not supposed to happen. It can be really painful, and the only way to diagnose it is surgery, which is terrifying to hear. So a lot of women aren't actually diagnosed because they don't want to go through surgery. Another reason is ovarian cysts, or it's like a fluid-filled sac, can embed itself in or around your uterus and ovaries and just kind of anywhere in your body, but it's extremely painful. And a lot of women get them regularly but don't notice because they're really small. So when you do notice, it means they're either really big or they burst and you have a series of them, and honestly, it feels like hell. And another one is fibroids, which is basically like tumors that are not cancer, but can range in so little that no one notices to around the size of a grapefruit. Now imagine having a grapefruit in your pelvis. That is larger than a woman's uterus should be. All of these causes, and there are many other causes that can cause awful pains before your period, during, and after, they can all sometimes lead to infertility. But we don't talk about it. Throughout history, women have been forced to stay silent. I don't know if you guys know what the laws of Nita are, but this is like a historical thing that's happened where basically a woman on her period is kind of like, now it's practiced in a lot of Jewish beliefs, is not allowed to touch her husband. She is not allowed to do anything the whole time she's on her period, 7 days afterwards, and then has to be deemed clean. And in the Bible, that often meant her priest had to inspect her after going through a virtual cleansing, like BT 101, you have the whole, if you're bleeding, then you're cast aside. And so you go, and then you go in this bath, and then come up and be inspected. And this happened every single month for these women. And still today, women around the world are forced to be in menstrual huts, which this has been happening since basically the dawn of time, where they're forced to go into a tent with a bunch of other women who are also menstruating, and it's really awful, because in the middle of winter, they're forced to stay in these huts, and it'll often be raining, and water will be all over the place, and it happens still. And in most world religions, including Christianity, a woman menstruating is considered to be unclean, because it's gross. We don't want to talk about that. But no matter the pain level, it's still not an excuse to miss classes or miss work, because women are expected to just get over it because it's just your period. You know who didn't care about all of this? Jesus. Actually, he did care, and he cared a lot. To conclude, I'm going to tell you a story. And it can be found in Mark chapter 5. There was a woman who had been menstruating for 12 years. Okay, 12 years. Ladies, menstruating once a month is hard enough. Imagine doing that for 12 years straight. Yeah, not fun. She had sought out the help of many medical professionals, time and time again, who had only made it worse. She was physically done, could barely move, and society had said, you're not worthy, you're dirty, don't touch anyone, don't talk to anyone, you are not even allowed to be near them. But she heard of this guy called Jesus who was performing a bunch of miracles, so she traveled on foot over 30 miles to find this man. And when she did, everyone was crowding him, there was no room to walk, and he was in a huge hurry, his disciples were in a hurry, and she pushed through and touched a lot of people in the crowd, and let me tell you, they probably were really ticked off. But she didn't care. And she fell at his feet and reached through the stomping feet and touched the end of his robe. And he stopped suddenly and said, who touched me? And of course his disciples, can you guys, put yourself here? There's a lot of people, everybody's crowding in. I don't know if you guys have been to a concert, but if you go to a concert that it's no, it's just standing room, and even then you can't really move and everybody's pressed in. Yeah, this was happening. And so the disciples were like, Jesus, you're crazy. What are you doing? Let's keep going. Everyone's touching you. Just chill, okay? And he said, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. I felt somebody touched me. They genuinely touched me. I felt the power leave me. And he turned, and there was this woman broken and bawling, and she reached out to him, and he told her, instead of saying, how dare you touch me, he told her, my daughter, it's by your faith that you have been healed, because she knew that if she just touched him, she would be healed. You see, Jesus did for this woman exactly what those people should have done for me at 16 years old, instead of saying, don't talk about that. Because I didn't talk about it, and it took 5 years for me to finally get answers.